You ever notice how life looks fine on the outside, but inside you're overthinking, shutting down, blowing up, or just feeling empty and both bored and overwhelmed simultaneously? That's not random, my friends. No, you're not alone in that feeling. That is your nervous system, aka your brain and your body, running old missions on autopilot. Welcome to the Mind Madam podcast. I am your host, Elizabeth, and this is the show where we break those patterns, drop the therapy speak, and actually make sense of why you do what you do. It is direct, no fluff, just patterns and actions that work, and tools for you to take back control of your life so that you can finally feel like yourself instead of a broken toy. All right, let's get into it. Hey, welcome back to this week's episode of the Mind Madam podcast. I'm your host, Elizabeth, and let me ask you this. Do you ever notice how sometimes you just do not go after the thing that you really want? You can see it in your mind. You can maybe taste it. Keep that to yourselves. You can almost feel it. You even start making the plan for it. And there's that little voice inside that whispers, come on, just go for it. But instead, you hesitate. You downplay it. Maybe you push it off and say, maybe later. Now is just not the time, not me. And the wild part is, it doesn't even make sense. Because you're not lazy, you're not weak, and it's definitely not because you didn't want it enough. It's just because you've got a little soldier inside of you running an old mission. I call this soldier Recon, the scared to want soldier. And here's how it started. Way back, there was an exile, a raw wound inside of you. Like for many of us, maybe you asked for something and got rejected. Maybe you were told, don't be greedy, just be thankful for what you have. Maybe you were laughed at for dreaming too big. And people said to you, that will never happen. Why are you even bothering thinking about that? That's such a waste of time. That part of you became unsafe. So along came Recon. And Recon said, don't worry. If wanting is dangerous, I'm going to keep you safe. I'll just make sure you never want too much. And Recon has been running that mission ever since. So how does that look now for you? Well, in relationships, maybe you crave intimacy, but instead hold back affection or stay quiet about your needs because Recon is whispering in your head, don't want too much, they might leave. Or maybe at work, you've got a bold idea in the meeting, but you keep it to yourself because Recon says, play small, because if you're wrong, if you rock the boat, they will reject you. With family, maybe you say yes to helping out again, even when you're drained, because Recon's mission is don't disappoint them, keep the peace. It's the same soldier, it's just different battlefields. And listen, Recon isn't bad. He's not your enemy. He's loyal. He's been running this operation for years, but his orders are now outdated because you are no longer 5 years old. Now, here's the part that surprises most people. When they finally notice Recon or any of the other 16 soldiers running missions for you, their first instinct is to fight them. You ask yourself, why do I keep sabotaging myself? Why can't I just stop this? Oh my God, I failed again. But here's the truth. Recon isn't a saboteur. He is a protector. And he's been loyal to you ever since the day he took the job. And that's why I don't shame my soldiers. Because if you go to war with them, you are going to war with yourself. How useful is that? It's a lot of wasted energy. Think about it. Would you shame your team and expect them to rise to the occasion? Of course not. You would lose their trust and they'd shut down even more. I mean, look at half the corporate entities out there with their toxic culture. That's what's going on. It's the same here. These soldiers are your teammates. Yes, they may be outdated, a little overzealous. Maybe they're a little misinformed, but they are still your teammates. They are part of you. Once you stop shaming them, you can actually start leading them. That's when real change happens. So at this point, you may be wondering, cool, Elizabeth, but what even is this? Where does all this soldier language come from? And that is a great question. And I love questions. This isn't random. This is actually loosely based on something called IFS, Internal Family Systems Therapy. IFS states that we're made up of parts, protectors, exiles, and firefighters. But I don't stop there. I take that base and connect it directly to your nervous system, to your survival patterns, and ultimately to the way that you actually make decisions in real time. That is what I call my internal command system. Because when I say Recon is running an old mission, that's not just a cute metaphor. It's proof your body and your brain are still following outdated orders. Once you see it, you can interrupt it. And that's where my stoplight framework comes in. I want you to think like a stoplight, like you're going down the road. With red, you spot it. You notice where a soldier is taking over. Yellow, we name the mission. What is the soldier trying to protect you from currently? Because that is their number one job, protection. They may do it a terrible way, but that is still the job. Then we have our green light. Green means go. We issue new orders. You are the commander now. You are in charge. You are governing your internal army. It is go time now. Let's interrupt it so we can have a better outcome. And Recon isn't the only soldier out there. No, in fact, he's one of 16 loyal soldiers that I have mapped, each with their own unique mission, their own battlefield, and their own way of keeping you stuck. But the thing is, this is actually part one of a 3-part series. Since there are 16 in total, I'm going to give you the 3 biggest ones that run the show over the next 3 weeks. And that is Recon, the Withholder, and the Analyzer. And if you can spot these 3, you'll start to see others. Here's the part most people miss. You are not the only one with these soldiers. I'm sorry to say, but you are not a unique snowflake on this one. In fact, your partner has them. Your boss has them. Your teammates have them. Your family, your kids. Everyone you interact with is running their own set of outdated orders with their own loyal soldiers trying to protect them. We are literally at war with ourselves and others, and we wonder why people are miserable. This work doesn't just shift how you show up. It changes the way that you read and respond to other people and everyone else. So why does this even matter, Elizabeth? Why are you telling me all this? Well, because this isn't just about the one time you didn't ask for a raise. When Recon runs the show, in business, you're going to settle for less money and less visibility because you're scared to want that and receive it. In relationships, you're going to take breadcrumbs instead of having the actual feast that you actually deserve. In leadership, you're going to avoid standing up and being seen because you're not allowed. Recon's trying to keep you safe. But safety doesn't have to mean small. Safety can mean speaking up in a meeting without your voice shaking, asking for that raise, and knowing you won't crumble if they say no. Saying no to family without spiraling into this toxic level of guilt and shame. You could walk into a date relaxed instead of armored up, waiting for, like, how do I assess this? And it feels like a job interview. Safety can mean leading. Safety can mean having a vision and sharing it out loud. Safety can mean expansion, taking up space in your own life without apologizing for it. So how do we actually do this? Let's go back to that meeting example. Say you've got an idea. You want to share it, but you freeze. Well, the red in our stoplight, we're going to notice something. We're going to notice that tight chest or like that little like bile, or it almost feels like your airways closing off in your throat. Like you're swallowing like your truth, basically. That's what I say it is. Well, start to notice that. That is your first clue this is a trigger. Your body will always tell you first, just like I go over in one of my other episodes about the nervous system. Then we're going to go to yellow. We're going to realize, oh, this is just Recon, and he's trying to protect me from rejection. What a silly soldier. Because it is ridiculous when you think about it. This is how we have fun with it. And then we go to green, because we have to reissue some new orders. We say that with a statement that makes your old logic impossible to hold on to. A question could be, If I want a raise so that I can provide for my family, how can I possibly get that if I stay quiet? See how that lands? It's not just a shiny affirmation that I'm deserving of all things, like as you look in the mirror. No, this is going to challenge the way that you think. It's going to interrupt your pattern. The soldier thinks staying quiet means it will be safe, but your new command proves that silence is actually the danger. That clash is what rewires your system in real time. And now your body has to react differently because it has a reason to, not because of hype, but because of the logic that makes action feel safer than hiding. Now, as always, I'm going to be completely straight up and real with you. I did not create this framework for fun because it sounded smart, sounded cool, and it was going to be a great time. I created it because I needed it to survive. For most of my life, I didn't protect myself. I had a lot of self-worth challenges. I let people cross all of my boundaries, if I even put them up to begin with. I let them drain me, use me, and take advantage, especially of my energy, especially of my empathic ways. And no affirmation, no mindset hack, no just think positive, love and light. None of that worked. It never got fixed. What finally shifted everything was this. When I learned about parts, I started to see them as soldiers. Something clicked. Because suddenly I wasn't just protecting me anymore. In fact, when I would try and just protect me, it felt very selfish. I didn't understand the whole concept of put your oxygen mask on first. I just could not compute to me. But all of a sudden, I wasn't just protecting me anymore. I was protecting them. The exiles, the scared, the wounded parts of me, those inner children. In that moment, something inside me said, wait a second. If I don't step up, then they stay unprotected. And that was the change that shifted. That's the moment I finally stepped into command, governing my internal army, like I said. Also, it felt really cool. Won't lie. Who doesn't want to feel like they're a commander of their stuff? And it's the kind of click that my clients get as well. It's not this like huge dramatic thing. It's more like, oh, this explains why I keep doing that. Or, I can actually see that pattern now. Once they see it, they finally feel like they can do something different instead of just beating themselves up. Bonus part 2, we are fixing the root cause, not the 16 surface level symptoms. It's so much easier. So here's what I want you to walk away with today. It's not that you need more discipline or more motivation. You definitely do not need to beat yourself up for hesitating. That's not really going to get you anywhere. You need command. Your soldiers are loyal. Their missions are just outdated. And you are the commander now, so you get to issue new orders. This week, your mission is simple. The moment you catch yourself shrinking back in love, at work, and family, pause. There's always power in the pause. We first have to catch it. You have to slow down. Notice your body cues. Then ask yourself, is Recon on duty? Name him, smile at him, give him a little wave if you want, and then step in as the commander that you are. And say, I've got this, and here's your new orders. And that's it. That's your whole practice. Next week, we're going into the battlefield of relationships because those are so awesome. This is where your soldiers don't just keep you small. No, they go above and beyond. They also keep you breadcrumbing, chasing, withholding, overgiving, a whole mix of tricks. And I'm going to introduce you to the soldier who shows up the most in love and why he's secretly running outdated orders and sabotaging your intimacy. And who wants to sabotage that? Not me. And hopefully not you. All right, well, thanks for staying today, and I will see you on the next episode. If this hit home, remember, this is the work that I do one-on-one. If you're ready to spot your own patterns and rewrite them, reach out. Don't be shy. I don't bite. The links are in the show notes. And if you want to help build something bigger, subscribe. Share this episode. Leave a review of how it helped you help yourself. Because this just isn't about us. It's about the impact that we can all make together. You never know. Your review Your share, your voice, that might be the thing that flips the light on for someone else that they won't remember forever. The more people we get on board with this, the fewer arguments we have, the less negativity, and the more clarity we all get to live in, with a bonus byproduct of fun. See you on the next one.